Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me this morning. Now, if you're watching this video, please be sure to hit the little thumbs up icon, share, subscribe, do all that good nonsense that YouTube won't do for me anymore. There's no way that these videos are going to show up unless you guys share them off-site for other people to see. The more you do that, the more the channel grows, the more our community grows. You know the deal. But today, we have some very, very good news to talk about. And the potential direction that this is going to take things is astonishing. Now, I'm sure all of you know of Jeffrey Epstein, with Epstein's private island down in the Virgin Islands there, the Lolita Express, his ties to the HRC, flying Bill and Hillary Clinton down to that island on that plane at least 20 times. The fact that he's been known to rub elbows with some of the biggest players in New York and Hollywood. The fact that this man was not only charged but already convicted and accepted a plea deal on charges of sexually assaulting underage females at a massage parlor. Now, just to show you how corrupt our government is and how unjust our justice system is, and to show you how much money can actually buy your freedom in this country, this guy was convicted and pled out to basically a prison sentence. However, he didn't have to go to jail or stay there for 6 days out of the week. Basically, it was a work release program where he could go to his office, go to his house, whatever. He would report back at night and on Sundays. So, a lot of people are misconflating what's going on. They think that these charges that Epstein was arrested on yesterday or the day before, I'm not sure which, I think it was yesterday, but the charges that Epstein were arrested on are new charges. However, these charges stem back to 15 years ago. Okay, and a lot of people want to say that Donald Trump and Epstein are buddy-buddy, and that Trump flew on Lolita Express. Well, yes, that's true, but if you look at the destination that Trump got on that plane and the destination he got off, he was basically catching a flight back to New York for free because, you know, billionaires share their planes with each other when, you know, they're not using them and they're just in transit. That's what happens. They were in the same circle of people. Now, there's comments about Trump referring to Epstein as a good dude and how Epstein likes his women young. Now, yes, that may be perturbing to some. However, you have to realize that Trump was referring to women. He never said girls underage. Now, this comment was actually made 3 years before Epstein was ever charged or prosecuted on anything. So nobody officially knew what was going on. And on top of that, knowing Trump, you have to wonder if that was a jab or a slight to draw attention to Epstein, or maybe it was a way of giving some inside baseball to people. We all know how Trump is. However, that's not important. The fact is, this man was arrested on new charges from 15 years ago. Now, what's even more interesting about this whole thing is, it just so happens to be taking place in the Southern District Court of New York. Now, you're going to ask me, why is that interesting? Well, if you remember a man named Anthony Weiner and the whole debacle that he went through, and his wife, Huma Abedin, who happened to be Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman and lover, according to some very strong sources, well, this guy was arrested for having a relationship where he was texting a 14-year-old female dick pics and all sorts of explicit content back and forth. Now, he was actually prosecuted and sent to prison over this, right? And it never drew too much mainstream attention. Yes, they covered it, but they didn't cover it like they would have if it was somebody that wasn't attached to Hillary Clinton. Now, we're going to dig even deeper into this because it becomes very intriguing that the Southern District of New York is overlooking both of these cases. And there's a reason behind this. Now, when Anthony Weiner was arrested, there was a laptop that was taken into evidence. And there's reports that on this laptop there was a file that was labeled life insurance policy. Now, when the detectives in the Southern District of New York opened up this computer and started watching and reading the files that were in this insurance policy folder, they ended up throwing up into the trash cans next to their desk. Okay, now there's reports of all kinds of horrendous stuff coming off of that computer, from a black book of everybody involved in pedophilia rings to the traces and evidence leading to the body count that Hillary Clinton has tied to her, which is at over 35 people. And if you don't believe me on that one, just go do your own homework, because the evidence is there. Now, something that's astonishing: if you are friends or have done business with Hillary Clinton, your likelihood of dying a premature death of mysterious causes are that of you getting hit by lightning 6 times. So you are 6 times more likely in your life to get hit by lightning, right? You're less likely to get hit 6 times in your life by lightning than you are to die if you work for Hillary Clinton. Do the math. It's absolutely insane. So, now, this is where things get even more intriguing, because according to these police officers, there's evidence that directly ties Hillary Clinton to this insurance policy. And I have no idea what information would be tying her to it, but you have to realize this man would have been privy to a lot of stuff. His wife was Hillary's right-hand woman, okay? And that means she would have had information on everything Hillary Clinton was doing, from the email to the Hillary Clinton Foundation, to everything that was going down in Haiti, to everything that was going down with Obama, to everything that was going down with the Secretary of State, everything, okay? And on top of that, you have to realize the circle of people that he also would have gained access to is absolutely incredible. Like, I don't even think you could fathom the resources this man could have had on that laptop. But here's where things are brilliant. If you manage to have a common tie between these two cases, and you can prove that there's evidence inside of that laptop that could be used in the Epstein case, you can introduce everything from Anthony Weiner's laptop as evidence if you wanted to. And imagine what kind of doors that would open up. Now, a lot of people have been saying, no, Trump ain't gonna clean the swamp. Well, what if everything for the past 2 years was leading up to this point? Because I'm telling you right now, Epstein going down isn't happening for no reason at all. They could have brought these charges on him any time over the last 15 years. Absolutely any time at all. They had the evidence. It's a 15-year-old case. They had the eyewitnesses. They had the victims. They had everything they needed. But they didn't press the charges until now. Now, there's also dirty players involved in this from the very jump. If you look into things and you start looking into the Southern District of New York and who works there and who's involved in this case, you'll find out very shortly after doing some digging that Comey's daughter is actually involved in this Jeffrey Epstein case. Now, I would say that there's a conflict of interest there, considering that she donated to the HRC, and seeing as Bill and Hillary are directly tied to the Lolita Express being passengers, and they are directly tied to Epstein Island. Now, we have to talk a little bit more about Epstein Island as well. But the big thing to take away from all of this is, if somebody like Comey's daughter has already weaseled their way in to working on this investigation, you know damn well that it's gonna face opposition from Jump Street. It's a given. However, if you look at what's been going on in the past, It seems as though these people are always given just enough rope to hang themselves. Now, if you were to bring charges on Epstein, right, from the DOJ, right, and you knew for a fact that Comey's daughter was in the Southern District of New York, and you knew that she was biased, why would you ever file in that district knowing that she was tied? Well, you have no choice. But at the same time, if you know for a fact that she's going to be working against you from the very beginning, you can set something up to make it very obvious that she's doing so. I'm not saying for a minute that I can tell you she is going to put up opposition or try to dismantle this case from the inside. I just think it's curious that Comey's daughter, after everything Comey went through, after all his ties to everything from the Hillary Clinton email case, which right there, if that was being handled in the Southern District of New York, then how the hell is Comey's daughter even there? Okay? Like, how is Comey's daughter even in that position if Epstein is tied directly to the HRC and her father oversaw the email case? How is she even on this? That means that she's there for a reason. It's the only thing I can think of. Now, it's funny that all of this ties in directly with what happened with this Russian submarine accident, okay? And if you look at what was going on at the time with Biden getting transferred from his flight and diverted, the plane never took off, but he ended up canceling his details. They kept quiet about that too, and this was all right before Epstein was arrested. Now, there's reports that the deep state may have very well have been using a submersible to tap into underwater communication lines, which ironically enough, this information would have traveled through. And then all of a sudden, you see world leaders all over the world holding meetings that are only held for an absolute emergency. Now, the only event that I can think of that would have so many players so intrigued that happened around this time is Epstein's arrest. And you're wondering, well, why is everybody freaking out about a man named Epstein? Well, I'm telling you that if you're brokering in sex trafficking, you are keeping blackmail on every single person that you do business with. Period. The end. And they're doing the same to you. It's a parasitic relationship. You guys keep each other around because you freaking have no other choice. Because if you cut ties or you turn back or you stab back, dude, there's blackmail on you for days. That's how these circles run. That's just life in a corrupt circle like that. So you have to understand, if people caught wind of Epstein getting arrested, they're going to be holding meetings for damage control. Okay? And if you look at people like Obama, who's ordered $60,000 in hot dogs and $40,000 in pizza for some of these parties, look up what those code words mean and just tell me that something isn't fishy and I'm going to slap you in the face. Everybody should be smiling about this, but at the same time, like, you need to be conscious of the fact that this has been going on around us for the last 20 fucking years and nobody's done a goddamn thing about it. It pisses me the fuck off, I'll be honest with you, because it touches me in a way that most people don't understand, and it ruins lives to a degree that most people will never understand. And the simple fact is, if more of us just opened up our fucking eyes and realized it was going on and actually stood for something for a change in our lives, it wouldn't be. Billions of dollars shouldn't afford you the privilege of owning a private island and a plane to traffic little girls. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. It shouldn't take you 15 years to get arrested for it when they had the evidence. You shouldn't have been able to plea out to 6 days a week at work and 1 day in prison. I'm sorry. Money doesn't bring back the life that you destroyed. I'm happy that things are happening, man, but at the same time, I don't have a whole lot of optimism as to whether or not things are going to get taken to the next step. Okay? Now, I'll be honest with you. If I was in charge, even though I would desperately want to lock these people up and parade them on the streets and hang them, I know for a fact that's not what is best for this country right now. It's not, okay? I'm sorry I'm saying it, and it's true. I have to look at this with a rational mindset. If I'm President Trump and I decide I'm going to go after all these people in these positions that I know have been up to these things together, what is it going to do to the country? They're going to say that I'm attacking my political adversaries. They're going to say that I'm going after these people just because I don't like them. It's going to turn the country against each other, split people right down the middle 50-50, because a lot of people aren't even willing to accept that pedophilia is going on. Okay? So, you're left with a dilemma. Do you quietly let these people ride off into the sunset under 24/7 monitoring from that point forward and tell them you could disappear and live out the rest of your life, but we're watching every fucking move you make, and you don't tell the public a goddamn thing, and you let them ride off into the sunset? But then again, I don't think their pride would ever let them do that, because their programming is not the same as yours and mine. They work from a different operating system. Pure evil. They'd never ride off into the sunset, because they're nothing without power. So I don't even think Trump's left with that option, but let's just say he was. It's the option I would take, because it would tear apart the country. Now, as a realist, the only way to get rid of the problem is to fucking cut off the head. Literally. But like I said, that causes a civil war. The only way around that is releasing the evidence to the public that proves it, and let them be the judge and jury. But you run into the problem of the internet being censored and controlled, and the fact that a lot of this information that would prove what was going on can't be shown legally. Not that I ever want to see it. But if you're telling me that I'd have to watch it to see these people go to justice, yeah, I think every fucking person needs to see something like that to know that this is what these people are capable of doing. Like, as sick as that is, as disgusting as that is, it's what it's going to take for a lot of people. I really don't know where to go from here. Like, I just don't. Good things are happening, but in order to make things better, nastier things are going to have to come to light, my friends. I don't think a lot of you guys could stomach it. I just don't. And honestly, the reason I can stomach it is fucked up, so you don't have to worry about that. A normal person shouldn't be able to. Have a good day, God bless, and realize things are changing right before your eyes, and ultimately it's going to come down to you and me, in my opinion. Like, I think it's really going to come down to you and me to right things, or to at least persuade public opinion to do the right thing for a goddamn change. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. That's all I got for you.